All right. So, hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Rachel May Yang, and I'm the founder and host of Project We Inspire. And I'm so excited tonight. Today is Thursday, July 29, 2021. And I'm so happy that we're able to launch finally Project We Inspire on YouTube through StreamYard. And again, our mission here, if you haven't joined us and been with us, we are here to interview, showcase unique individuals and how they overcame obstacles and hurdles in order to. We are here to interview, showcase. Okay, sorry about that. We're here to showcase and interview unique individuals who overcame obstacles and hurdles in order to listen to how they have overcame them to accomplish their dreams, goals, and passions. So today we have a special guest, A-Yia Thao, who is from LA, and he's going to be here to talk about his journey with hypnotherapy. He's a certified hypnotherapist, a trained level 2 Reiki practitioner, and a spirit medium. Hi, A-Yia. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to join us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I think we scheduled this like a while back, and I'm just so excited to see that it's finally come to fruition. So I'm very excited to talk about hypnosis and how it can help people.
Yes, absolutely. We had, I think, planned this about 4 months ago to put this on the platform or on YouTube channel, but I think it was the timing, right? We needed to
Hey,
have
you know what? I believe that the timing was exactly the way it was supposed to be. Because if we would have done it 4 months ago, I think things would have been really different. And right now, with the universe being the way it is, I think that is perfect timing right now. So
it is. It absolutely is. And I think later on, the audience and the community is definitely going to hear about why it's happening now versus 4 months ago. So before we begin our discussion and interview, please let us know if you are hearing echoes, if you're not seeing us very well, if there's anything that you would like to share with us with your feedback about our video today. Feel free to message us and let us know because, again, sometimes we don't catch the lighting or the sounds and it's not clear. Let us know.
yeah, and if you think that Rachel is the coolest, you can let her know that too. That's totally okay to do that. Thank you for everything that you do with like Project Inspire. We inspire getting people on board, having all of these interviews. I know having done a show myself in the past, I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of coordination, and you volunteer all this time. So all of us should at least take one moment to be thankful for everything, all of your contributions.
Oh, thank you so much, A-Yia, for that. I mean, I just want to say that this dream has been, with me for so long, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. And I just want to say thank you to you and your wife for helping me find that confidence, and my best friend Linda for always pushing me. So I want to say that if it wasn't for you three to really give me the tools, the skills, and the confidence, I don't think I would be here today. So thank you for appreciating the work that I do because I really do love what I do. And so thank you so much for that. So I want to say before we continue with our discussion and interview, I want to say as a disclaimer and emphasize that A-Yia and I are not paid to advertise or to talk about this hypnotherapy information, background, or session that we've had or experiences that we've gone through in our lives. And some of the results, I want to make sure that the audience knows that it could be similar, very different, but not limited to what we have experienced or what I have gone through. So it could totally work for someone. It may not work for some people. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that. If you do want to ask certain questions, please also keep note that personal questions, we want to respect the privacy of your questions, right? Personal questions and confidentiality. And then we will answer general questions as we go and as we continue with our interview. But 我前到一直俾過係蒙得入，但一直俾啲到呢個路浪你收到好 messenger，OK 就哎呀咯就估啦，and then 爸爸那邊嘛呢個跌到 and we will talk a lot about some of the questions or concerns, okay?
Yeah, and definitely if you have a very personal question, please reach out to me privately because I would rather you have that security of and the confidentiality than to put it out there and to have everybody
Mhm.
know that that was your question. So I'm open
Mhm.
to receiving messages and questions privately.
Yes. And same here. I think that it's best that if we're not really sure if the question should be asked, feel free to message us so that we can help explain things to you or talk to you about it. Okay. All right. So let me.
I do want to have one more, if I may, one more disclaimer.
Mhm.
That is that if you have illnesses that have a medical etiology, or if you have anything that is related to the DSM-5, which is diagnosable mental illness or psychological issues, make sure that you seek the advice of a licensed practitioner, whether it's a doctor or a psychotherapist, before you come to hypnotherapy. Because even though hypnotherapy is very powerful, there are some things that hypnotherapy is not good for. So we want to make sure that we're working with the psychotherapist or with the doctor to make sure that you have the best care possible.
Absolutely. And thank you for Aya for reminding our audience and us to that, we are working together with other practitioners. And if you should have a life and death situation or an emergency, please call 911 or reach out to law enforcement or to family members. So we want to make sure that we are aware of that tonight. So if you do have any major issues that you're working on, please reach out to the people that can absolutely help you right away. Okay.
Yeah, and
Alrighty.
if you're not sure, definitely reach out to me, and I can definitely let you know. Oh, this is something you need to go see the doctor first, or oh yeah, we could start working on that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you. So with Aya's journey, we're going to start a little bit from the beginning and just let everybody know that Aya wrote a brief bio to me, just like all of my interviewees. And you had shared that ever since you can remember, you were always interested in the different ways our mind works. In your opinion, please share with us what intrigues you about how the mind works.
Sure. In the beginning, like before wheels were invented, before people knew how to write, yes, I was around during that time. I was really inspired by understanding how and why people do the things that they do. Excuse me. Even from a very young age, I either instinctively or automatically became a shoulder for people to lean on, for people to cry on. And so having a deeper understanding of human nature, or sometimes I call it more human habit, it really helped me maneuver through the trials and tribulations of human interaction.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's so interesting because the mind is so powerful and there's just so many things that we put in there. So you shared that 25 years ago, you snuck into the University of Minnesota Medical School Library and by chance you started reading about hypnosis. And you started to learn that very quickly, even at the beginning stage, right, the beginning level, you were able to use hypnosis to help somebody reduce their asthma attacks from 3 times a day to once every 3 months. And in just one session, you shared that the power of suggestions greatly improved his quality of life. Can you please share with us what is a suggestion and how are they used to greatly improve someone's quality of life?
I probably should stop sharing that story because I don't want to get a bill from the University of Minnesota Medical School. But before I answer that, I do want to say that in all confidentiality, I never ever share anybody's story unless I've gotten written pre-approval. I think that confidentiality is very important, especially in the monk community, because everybody knows everybody. And so a lot of times I've heard, and you probably have heard too, Rachel, where
Mhm.
people will say, "Well, I don't want to go to a monk therapist because they're going to tell everybody in your community, and then they're going to know my problem," and to me, helping you feel safe, secure, and knowing that is a very private conversation
Mhm.
is of the utmost importance to me. So the reason why we share this story is so that people can get understanding of the power of hypnosis. And of the power of words, because words are very, very powerful. A lot of
Mhm.
times people will use negative self-talk. They'll say, "Oh, I don't know why I tried. I'm so stupid," or "Why did I do that? I can't believe I'm so dumb." Um,
Mhm.
and so when they do that, they constantly use negative words, which then kicks them down. And how we refer to ourselves becomes who we become.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes it comes from within because of the way that we perceive the world. Sometimes it comes from without. Even if you're not doing it to yourself, if there is somebody in your life, whether it's your mom, your dad, or your older sibling, that constantly reminds you, oh, you're so stupid, or you're the ugly one, you're so stupid. And even if, the first day, you're like, I'm not ugly, I'm sexy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, if they keep saying it enough, it starts slowly getting into our brain. And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually it starts to chip away at that confidence of like, no, 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 I think I'm sexy. No, you're ugly. And
Mm-hmm.
if they keep saying that, eventually you start to believe it, because what happens is that day when you meet that really beautiful or handsome person, and you're just like, oh, I have to ask them on a date. And you're like, would you like to go out sometime? And they're like, ew, you? No. And then all of a sudden it's confirmed all of this other stuff that has been put into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, that's why they say I'm ugly, because even she doesn't think that I'm handsome. And
Mm-hmm.
so then that becomes your reality, instead of understanding that that was what somebody else was trying to place in your brain. And because you weren't able to fend off successfully their attacks, it became part of your reality. There is a Japanese scientist. His name is Dr. Masaru Emoto. If you guys want to either Google him or research it, he performed a bunch of experiments on water, on eggs, on rice, and it was really amazing that what his research found, because there was like water that he would speak lovingly to her in a positive way. He would be like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're beautiful. I miss you. I love you. You're the best." And then there's water that he is just like, "You're stupid. You're horrible. You're the worst water ever. You taste gross." And he would do this constantly for a while. And then when he froze the water, the one that he spoke very lovingly to became beautiful crystals. And the water that he was just like, you're shit. Oh, excuse my French. You're just crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It became sludge. And so after having seen this research and read about it and learned a little bit about it, my lady and I, we kind of have this saying in the house. We're like, we're creating crystals today. We're not going to create sludge. Crystals, not sludge. But even with his experiment with the rice, what happened was the rice that he spoke lovingly to, it stayed white for most of the experiment, and then eventually fermented and became almost like a sweet alcohol. Whereas the rice that he spoke very down to and made it feel bad, it became very dark, started getting mold, it started just to rot away. And so what I've learned from this is that it's very important, the messages, or we call them suggestions, that you use every day on yourself or on people that you care about. These
Mm-hmm.
ideas eventually get inside your subconscious mind, and they change your reality, and they make you become something that maybe you were not, had you not allowed yourself to do that. And so, like, I have this saying that I used to say a lot that I try not to anymore. Like when my kids used to like really frustrate me, I'd be like, "Oh my god, you're gonna give me a heart attack," and I'm like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
wait, no, nope, I can't say that anymore. Can't let that be entered into my body, because then eventually
Right.
my body will respond the way I'm telling it to." You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense because we hear that phrase, especially with "you're going to give me a heart attack," so
yeah.
often that it becomes a norm. But we don't realize that we're suggesting that into our body, into our brains, into our being, And so that is definitely something we don't want to keep suggesting to our bodies.
Another
Thank you.
phrase that people use a lot is like, "Oh my god, I just want to die right now." Right?
Yes.
Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah. Those are, yeah, I was going to say there's so many common negative statements that we tend to say on a daily basis without even thinking it's going to really impact the way we think and feel about ourselves and how it really changes our bodies. And so
Mhm.
thank you for that. That's definitely something useful for us to keep in mind. So further,
Yes.
you shared that ever since that moment, uh, when this occurred 25 years ago, you understood that the true power of hypnosis could change people's lives or our lives for the better.
Mhm.
Can you please share with us the understanding of the true power of hypnosis changing people's lives for the better?
I'll say this: the thing that really wowed me was that I didn't know what I was doing. I was just reading words on a page and trying to sound like I knew what I was doing. And I'm an actor a little bit too, so
Mhm.
I was like, let's just pretend I'm a hypnotherapist, and you will look into my eyes and become very, very sleepy. And so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like playing the part. But
Mhm.
in that one session, the person that I worked with
Mhm.
went from having 3 attacks per day and
Mhm.
started becoming more and more to having 1 attack in 3 months. And so what I saw was with all of the albuterol that this person was using, with all of the doctor visits, it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse.
Mhm.
And when I read the book, uh, it said that this person was a poster child for hypnosis. And so I was like, well, is it gonna hurt to try? Let's just try. If it worst case scenario, you get very relaxed and then you go to sleep. And it was so amazing to me because I didn't know that I could have that kind of impact on somebody. That I
Mhm.
could make that kind of change on
Mhm.
somebody in just 1 hour of just talking to them. You just using words. I'm not using any medication, and I'm not
Right.
taking away from medication. I have no opinion on that. If you need medication, that's you, and that's
Mhm.
between you and your doctor.
Right.
But to be able to help somebody with just words, it was just so.
Mhm. Yes, and I want to say that later on we're going to definitely talk about that journey with what and how you use the hypnotherapy words, visuals, and things to help me move forward from all those negative things that I had in my past. But going back those 25 years, you said you'd use also hypnosis to help many friends and family work on a lot of these unresolved emotional issues. And I'm sure with the audience and people who are listening in, they have also have unresolved emotional issues. What were some of those common unresolved emotional issues that you use hypnotherapy for? And I'm not saying to name out people like in your family or friends and disclose or anything,
Well, if
but
you
what
want a
were
phone list and a name, like a contact list, yeah, I'll put it on my website. No, I'm just kidding. Um, to be in all honesty, we are bound by HIPAA rules, just like any other therapist. So
Mhm,
we are actually, and in my practice, I don't even ask for I don't even ask for what's the word, like reviews, because I feel like if you're giving a review, you are disclosing information about yourself. And I feel like everybody deserves that security, that privacy. So I don't even ask for reviews. I would just prefer that if people have been clients and they think that I've done something good for them, they can like tell their circle or say whatever they want to,
mhm.
and on a level that they are comfortable with. I don't want to put that on my website and say, "Oh, well, I worked with this person, I work with that person, and I'm so
Right.
amazing." No, because at the end of the day, it's not about my ego. It's about me helping
Mhm,
somebody. But
mhm,
that being said, I mean, even within our classes and our own personal experiences, my clinical
mhm,
experiences,
mhm,
there's the two most common reasons why people use hypnosis, and it's mostly because it's become so popularized. But first is stopping smoking. We call it smoking cessation. The
mhm.
other is weight loss, or I prefer to call it weight release. Because if
Mhm.
you lose the weight, you might find it again, right? But if we release
Yeah.
it, then it doesn't have to come back.
Mhm,
I've also done a lot of work with people with anxiety,
mhm,
helping them release the reasons as to why they feeling anxious about situations. I've
mhm,
helped with people with past life regression, bringing them back into a past life to resolve whatever issue that was unresolved, so that in this life they can live free of that karmic debt.
mhm,
Um, I've also done some work. I've done, like I said, weight loss, smoking cessation. Um,
mhm,
so there's I mean, group hypnosis though has like a huge range of different things that we can work on.
mhm,
We call it psychosomatic symptoms or presenting issues.
mhm,
Psychosomatic presenting issues basically means that what is unresolved in your mind oftentimes manifests itself in your body. Sometimes, oh yeah, like pain management. I've done that too.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually certified for pain management. Where
Mm-hmm.
you might have chronic pain in your arm, or actually, like for people who have chronic pain in their shoulders. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we call that a responsibility syndrome, where if they have a lot of chronic pain in their shoulders, it's probably because they either are running away from responsibility or they're carrying too much responsibility, and their mind doesn't allow themselves to release the responsibility. So your body's saying, I am tired, I'm fatigued from carrying all this weight. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we are using hypnosis, we can then use our tools to diagnose that, help the person release that, and then the pain a lot of times will go away.
Mm. Wow, that's so interesting. I'm thinking, and I was like looking at the or listening in on the past life regression, and I noticed that that is something that we think of and practice in our Hmong culture, right? With the past life, and cũng hay là món mình chỉ giỏi thì sometimes we must like but the oh but lúc tuổi
Yeah.
and wrong nung the lo bé wa ya không chỉ and
Mhm.
so we definitely not believe in it. We have experienced it with the shamanism, and so can you give us some examples, please, about what this past life regression could look like?
Not everybody believes in multiple lives. It's more of an Eastern philosophy, Buddhist, Hmong, shamanist idea where when we die, we are born into a new life, and then we live that life, and we die again. We're born into another life. And if you're Buddhist, then you eventually are supposed to be working towards, rising up to, like bodhisattva
Mm-hmm.
status, enlightenment.
Yeah.
But you have to be most of my being Santa, you more you don't need to you more can do or nina. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people, whether it's imagination, whether it's real, whether there's nothing, sometimes people have it within their own mind that they have a past life that is affecting them now. And this is something that I read from a book where there was a lady that the therapist was working with, and she had asthma, and no matter what he was doing, no matter what therapy he was giving her,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't help her with her asthma. And so just by chance, and he didn't even realize he was doing this, but he did past life regression, which basically was to take her, who she is right now, and go back and visit the person that she was in a past life. If you think about like Christmas Carol, right? Like where
Yeah.
Ghost of Christmas Past and brings them back to a time in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we take the client
Mm-hmm.
back into a life before this one, and we see what we see, and we try to figure out what is it that happened in this life, this like painful experience that has this soul still trapped there partially.
Mm.
And then we help them release it, and when they release it, they are no longer trapped there, and then they are able to then move forward into this life and be able to live without that karmic debt.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is that like with my spiritual stuff, I also do numerology readings, so we can do like a profile based on your birth date and on your name, and then we can then tell you whether or not you brought karmic debt into this life, what are the karmic lessons you're supposed to learn in this life, and what are your tendencies as a personality. Like what are some things that you typically do based on the day you were born and the name that you were given.
Mm. That's so interesting because I know that not everybody in the community, or maybe our viewers, haven't learned a lot about numerology or past life regression, or you had said karmic debts.
Yes.
But it's common in our culture to say, oh,
Mhm.
so I think that's very interesting because hypnotherapy can help with those type of issues as well.
Yeah.
So moving right along, you had said that you recently decided to formalize your training in a 1-year intensive program and became a certified hypnotherapist. Can you please share with us what inspired you to formalize your hypnotherapy training, and what are some of the requirements in training you have to complete to become a certified hypnotherapist?
Okay. So,
Mhm.
like I said, I probably shouldn't keep telling this story because U of M is probably going to show up at my door, especially right now because I'm at the U of M, but I mean at in Minnesota right now.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
what I did was it was all a lot of self study, so I had no idea what actual hypnosis was,
Mhm.
but I instinctively had learned how to use it, and I was able to help people around me release past brokenness, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and so there was always this part of me that I was like, well, like what if I were to get formal training? How would that change my life, or who would I become? Because uh, also while I was in college, we had a stage hypnotherapist come. I'm not hypnotherapist, stage hypnotist come,
Hypnosis.
and and that's what a lot of people think because that's what they see. Oh, you're gonna make me bark like a dog or quack like a duck. I'm like, I can if you want me to, but
Mhm.
that's not our purpose. Our purpose here is to help you heal. And so then I saw them and I was like, well, I mean, like I want to learn their tricks or learn their techniques, but at the same time, it's like if you're an English speaker and you go to France, you pick up words in here and there because they have words that are similar, but they're
Yeah.
different. And so you start, but you once you learn it, you realize your interpretation of what they said is really different from what they actually said when you learn French.
Mhm.
So I wanted to formalize my training and say, you know what, this is something that's important enough to me that I want to be good at it, and I
Mhm.
want to be able to help people, truly help people with it. And so then I kept driving by the sign of this school when I lived in LA for the first time, and then I moved away, and then I got uh, I got in a relationship with my current lady. We both
Mhm.
moved down, kept driving past that sign. I'm like, oh God, why did we? And every time we drive by, I'm like, hey, there's that sign. So my
Mhm.
lady, bless her heart, she's so amazing. I love her so much. I'm so blessed to have her in my life.
Mhm.
She's like, you know what? I'm just gonna schedule an appointment for you. And so she forced me to go. I'm like, nah, I don't know. We don't. I don't know if we have time for it. And she's like, no,
Good job,
just
Sandy.
go. Yeah, thank you, Sandy. Uh, and so then I toured the campus. Before I was even done, I was like, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So then I signed up for the 1 year program, and as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just so amazing how it was there the whole time. And finally, your partner, your beautiful wife was like, go in, we're just going to do this. And you're doing it now and you're changing so many lives, even myself. So with that said, I would like to share, you shared a lot of the stats and reports with me about hypnotherapy. And if anybody would like more stats, please, go to hypnoelevate.com or message Aya. But one of the ones that stuck out to me was the one that you had shared from Forbes magazine. And it stated here that 93% success rate had less sessions, excuse me, than the same as other traditional therapies.
Yeah. So to clarify, with hypnotherapy, it has a 93% success rate with less sessions than other more traditional therapies. And we're not
Mhm,
gonna talk down or talk badly about other forms of therapy. Everything has their place, and everything has their importance. But what I
mhm,
have seen within my own experience, within my own practice, within school
mhm,
examples, is that there are a lot of like very serious, we call them presenting issues, that sometimes can be resolved in one session.
mhm,
You know, and so and some other ones that can sometimes be very serious, that within a few sessions can be completely resolved. And
mhm,
that's part of the reason why I wanted to do hypnotherapy, because it gave me the opportunity to open my own practice and to be able to help people in a very, very powerful way,
mhm,
and to have them feel that relief immediately.
mhm. That's actually very, very true. I think that that's where I can say here that I read your bio where you said that overall hypnosis proves to be a great way for helping you walk away from brokenness of your past while laying the groundwork for attracting the wonderful life you want from the future. And I have to say that I think pretty much summarizes what I wanted and what I needed from hypnotherapy, because when you have a very broken past and you're not really sure how to go forward because you keep repeating the same things over and over again, I do want to share with the audience and with people today that, with just 3 sessions of hypnotherapy and guidance from you, Aya, for the past 9 months, I just want to say here that I have been holding on to about 30 years of negative thoughts, negative behaviors, beliefs, core beliefs about myself. And it all started at 10 years old, and I'm about to be 41 now. My biological dad gave me up for adoption to an American white family. And these are some of the things I want to share with the audience that I had shared with you, Aya. And this is something that I had been telling myself, that people have told me throughout the 30 years. And I'm just going to share a few of these. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel deserving of happiness or any kind of love, which included the love within myself and for myself. I felt I was always or usually cutting myself short from living a life worth living, or a life I love or deserve. I had these negative thoughts and core beliefs for over 30 years about who I was, who I should, who I shouldn't be. And all I knew was that I wasn't truly happy, and I was never really living up to my full potential. And I felt that I was either my worst enemy, stopping myself from living and doing things that I wanted, or sabotaging myself from living that life, or that positive life, even positive and healthy relationships, friendships, career. And then when I finally realized that these core beliefs and behaviors were like so deep and embedded in me, I realized that there was just so much more than just therapy, because I've been doing therapy all my life. I was just thinking here, and I wrote here that I felt like it was in my blood. It was just a part of me. And I had to find a way to get out of it. And I'd been searching for a type of therapy for so many years. I kind of knew that hypnotherapy was going to be a part of that, but I was like, I wasn't sure. So I actually was looking through hypnotherapy, Hmong hypnotherapists, and I came across your profile and your interview with two Hmong boys. And shout out to two Hmong boys in Minnesota. And I read all of this.
Much love to my brothers.
Back in November 2020, right after when I was separated from my job, and I didn't know where to go from there. I felt lost. And I thought to myself, wow, this is what I really need. I need something to unblock and change my old mindset and my old unhealthy, self-defeating core beliefs and behaviors. Because if I knew that if I didn't stop them or block them or rechange my mindset or whatever that's in my blood, quote unquote, I wasn't going to ever move past the whatever negative stuff, and I wasn't going to fully live my potential. So, of course, I reached out to you, Aya. I messaged you, and I, pretty much asked for hypnotherapy or treatment. So I want to let everybody know that I was really nervous. I was really scared, but I had faith, and I just felt like it was fate that brought me to talk to you, Aya. So I'm curious, in your opinion, why and what did you see about my negative thoughts and behaviors that made me a good candidate for hypnotherapy?
I think a lot of times with negative thoughts and behaviors, a lot of times are rooted in something that has happened in the past. Mm-hmm. When you told me that you had been rejected and given to another family, I automatically felt like that was going to cause a lot of problems. That with acceptance, with confidence, with self-esteem. And so I knew that if we were able to help you get over that and see that differently, that a lot of these issues that followed downstream would eventually then be cut off if we were to shut off that flow of energy. And if we were to able to reroute that river towards something more positive, and using the law of attraction, using the power of your mind, that you could really truly live your most amazing, beautiful life.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really good to know because all I knew was I was in a bunch of mess. And as I said, I was in a hot mess and I didn't want to live that way anymore. So, what were some of the visuals or keywords that you learned about me that assisted you? Because I'm curious too, because I never really asked you this until today, that assisted you in wanting to change in my subconscious mind and my core belief system.
Well, see, the thing is that as a hypnotherapist, our profession is listening. So we have to become professional listeners. And what I did was I asked you questions and purposefully asked you questions that would help me with your therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me about the image of the phoenix.
Yes.
Do you know where I got that from?
Where?
Do you know where I got that from?
No.
I got that from you. You gave me that image.
Oh, okay, okay.
See, and so what happens is that, as we were talking about the critical mind before, if I
Mm-hmm.
introduce an image that is outside of you
Mm-hmm.
and that you are not, you may
Right.
not like,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna come and it's gonna hit that critical mind and it's gonna bounce off. It's not gonna come get inside. And so what I do is then I ask you for the image.
Mm.
And then you said Phoenix. So I'm like, oh, well, Phoenix is gonna fly right past your critical mind because you've already accepted that. And then we
Mm-hmm.
can use that Phoenix then to help you fly higher, fly stronger, fly more beautifully.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting that you talk about the Phoenix because we also, I think, had some discussions about how, and thank you for sharing that with us today, with me, is that I felt a lot of the times in my life that I would burn, crash, fail,
Mm-hmm.
be a loser, whatever that I felt like what a Phoenix sometimes does, right? They
Mm-hmm.
can burn into ashes. They could just be ashes, burn and all that, and they can burn other people, but they
Yeah.
would rise again and they would become stronger or wiser, or they would fly even higher and they become either different kind of phoenix, right? So
Mm-hmm.
definitely for sure that is an image that I imagine myself because of my life. I felt like I was constantly crashing, burning, hurting, and then re-rising and then doing better, or doing I think was better and then crashing again. So what were some of the behaviors that you saw that I needed to change in order to reach my full potential and to be where I am today?
Definitely with therapy, a lot of times the first thing we always do is we always want to make sure that the person has confidence. Because if the person doesn't have confidence, if we introduce any changes into their life, what's the first thing they're going to do?
Uh, they're not gonna accept it. They're gonna
They're going to run away because they're scared.
run away. They're like, "What's that?"
Yeah. Or it's like,
Mhm.
well, I'm so used to, let's not use that, but they're so,
Yeah.
what I was going to use the image, a very strong image, but I think that it's not proper in this
Mhm.
format. So what I
Mhm.
would say is, um, let's take a weight loss person, right?
Mhm.
I'm so used to eating 4 bowls of rice.
Yes.
What am I mean, I'm going to get hungry. I'm going to get hungry if you expect me to eat less, right? And so their mind has been trained to that.
Mm.
And so what we have to do is then we have to introduce it where they're going to feel confident. It's like, you know what? Even if I only eat 1 bowl, I'm confident that there's plenty of rice in the rice cooker. I'm
Mhm.
confident that there's plenty of rice, plenty of food in the refrigerator. So if I do get hungry, I'm not going to die of starvation. I have
Mhm.
plenty of resources.
Mhm.
But if we don't build them up and make them feel confident that they
Mhm.
can change,
Mhm.
anything that I give to them, they're just going to keep running away from.
Mm.
Because they're
That is,
like, oh, no, I want to stay in my comfort zone. I'm
mhm.
not comfortable with that.
Yeah, that definitely is a different way to look at it. And I just thought about this right now, Aya, is that I had this such negative view about being adopted and being given away.
Yes.
And in our last session, you mentioned, and I would like you to elaborate on it too, but it totally opened up my mind to, oh, like you said, it's, like it's just out of this world. I mean, I'm still processing it today. And um, you said to me something to the effect of, what if they, as in your dad, didn't give you away to this American white family? What if you were chosen?
Right.
What if they had seen the potential in you from the beginning, and they had seen that you'd be the one who would be the smartest or the most motivated, or that you'd be the one who would be the most educated, and then you began to really question or ask me in a kind way,
Mm-hmm.
so are you the most educated in your family? Do you
Actually,
speak?
I'm not.
No, 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 no,
I'm
no,
not.
no,
My younger brother, he's
no,
much
no,
more
you
educated.
didn't ask me. No, no, you
Oh,
had
yeah,
asked
yeah,
me.
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
You had mentioned it to me, right?
Yes.
That are you, you are probably the most educated in your family. You probably speak the best English, or you have seen the most, or I mean, you just started to really talk about how the chosen part versus the given away, I mean, the rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And that itself, just like, wait, how is that possible when I've been thinking for 30 years that I've been given away, rejected? So I just want to say, I feel fantastic today. I feel like I'm living the life that I want. I feel like I've attracted because of this new perspective in life that you've given me, that I'm working. I've been offered my dream jobs. Feel like I truly have the man of my dreams. I'm not lying about it right now. And I feel like I have the best, healthiest friends and family that I need in my life. I'm willing to change to be the best version of myself. And I truly feel that this emptiness, or this half living that I've talked about with my significant other, that I'm not in survival mode all the time anymore. And I feel like all of that has decreased and left my body. And I feel like I'm really, truly finally forgiving people and myself for hurting me or for rejecting, quote unquote, that I thought of. And I stopped being angry at my life, myself, my circumstances, my family members, and even both of my parents. That's what my parents. So I just want to say that if it wasn't for hypnotherapy, I know it sounds cliche, if it wasn't for hypnotherapy, I don't think I would have been able to overcome all of these negative thoughts. And I just want to say I would not have the confidence to interview for, and I'm just gonna put it out there, a clinical director job for a county. I wouldn't have been able to open up and really truly be with the man that I feel that is meant for me to be with the rest of my life, and to feel confident that I can set boundaries not only for myself and my past, but with people around me, and be okay with rejection, even though I still have a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of troubles, a lot of triggers, but it's not to the extent that it was before 9 months ago. And I
Keep
have
in
been
mind,
going
though. Keep
years.
in mind, though, you've already been offered a really amazing job before you were offered this one too, right?
Yes, yes. So that, yes. So my dream has always been to be a clinical director or a director of programs or a variety of facilities,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the county. And then my other dream job was to be asked to host and have my own group therapy program in a private practice. I've never thought in my wildest dreams that it would occur. And I sent you this, I sent you the message, right?
Yes. Yes.
How these offers came within a minute of each other just a few days ago. And I just thought to myself, like, that is incredible, because I've thought about it for years. I've manifested it, but I never really truly believed in myself. I never had the confidence that I could interview with an executive director in the county, and then to talk to a doctor that I am, thank you, Dr. Ha, that I was like, if I could ever work with her, if I could ever, be a part of her private practice, I would love to be, a group therapist to work with her. And then for it to all come true, for them to actually say, we want you, we believe in you, you have the potential, we think that you are able to make an impact and you are a positive light to really changing people's lives. I was like, wow, like, is that possible? And it is possible because I really truly feel that you release all those negative bad thoughts.
Darkness. Yeah.
That darkness, right? All that criticism, judgments, ridicules. I mean, you name it. I mean, I had it, like, all the negative things. So I would like to close the interview by just discussing like what you had shared in your bio, and you can chime in whenever you want. But I just want to say that by you writing here, you're probably here because you've reached a point when you ask yourself, am I applying my full potential towards my goals, dreams, and aspirations in my life? Or maybe you're looking to let go of something that has happened in the past. The saying goes, we only use 10% of our brains. By employing the subconscious mind to join us in this journey, we will employ 100% of your mind towards achieving the goals you set for yourself. You also wrote here, as we walk away from limiting beliefs in this life or another one, we can break the chains that bind us to living a subpar existence. Only when we are whole, we can truly be the person we are meant to be. Applying the law of attraction is one of my favorite uses of hypnosis. Tapping into your subconscious mind will give you the control that you need to bring the rein together and let you be the driver, right? Be in the driver's seat in your life. And I think that whole paragraph right there that you wrote, I saw myself in that. I felt I was never applying myself fully, even though people would say, oh, you have so much potential, or you can do so much more, or why do you keep holding on to all the past? Why can't you let it go? My adopted mother, I was going to share during this live interview, I had finally reached out to my adopted mother after 8 or 9 years of not talking to her, and she said exactly that. Why are you still holding on to that? It was so long ago. And I felt that rejection. That how could you not even allow me to try to understand what had happened, because I didn't. And he was just like, well, it's been 10, 20, 30 years since all of this happened. And I remember just feeling like, wow, she didn't even validate me. She didn't even accept my feelings or my emotions. And then I just thought to myself, wow, that's something I need to work on. Because in truth, I need her to validate me. Yes. To move forward. I needed myself. I needed to move forward because she had already done it, but I hadn't. So with those words that you wrote about, or that you wrote for your clients and patients, such as myself, can you please share with us a lasting, inspirational, and positive message about how a person or someone can utilize hypnotherapy and how it can change or impact someone's life for the better, if not to its full potential?
Okay. Are you familiar with the Japanese practice of kintsurugi, I think? Let me just check what that. Kintsukuroi. Mm-hmm. Do you know what that is? Mm-mm. Kintsukuroi is the practice of taking this perfect piece of pottery and then smashing it in the ground. So it's all broken pieces. Mm-hmm. And then they take the pieces and glue it all back together with gold. And so when you look at it, it's way more beautiful broken than it was whole. We all, as we go through life, we all get broken in some way. But we can choose to be broken pieces on the floor, or we can glue ourselves back together with gold and shine and be even more beautiful with our cracks than we were without cracks.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I can't share screen right now. But if I could, I would show you a picture of Kintsukuroi. It's KINTSUKUROI.
Wow,
And
I'm definitely gonna look that up.
yeah, and if you look at the pottery, it's so beautiful. And if you see the pieces before it, you can see that it's so much more beautiful because it was broken.
Mhm. That's such a great way to look at brokenness or broken something that's broken,
Hmm.
and a great analogy is visual because I think that's how I've always seen myself too, not as a broken pottery or pot, but as a broken mirror or shattered mirror, right? Where
Hmm.
you're just in millions of pieces, you don't really know how to put it back together. But to think of it that sometimes things are just, especially with the gold, like you said, when you put it back together, that it is more beautiful with all the different curves
Shape.
or
Yep.
shapes, and then the gold that holds it together versus when it was in one piece. So
Yes.
that is definitely an inspiring and positive message for anybody who's been broken or has gone through life and they don't really know how to put themselves back together. Um, are there any last words of advice or anything you would like to share with our audience before we go?
Definitely. I would like to say that if even if you just have a question and you don't know if hypnosis can work out or if it's good for it, reach out. I'm pretty open about helping people. I got into it first and foremost because I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, because it helps pay the bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something that I can do to help, or if there's something that you that's you're still worried about and you don't have any other resources, then reach out and I'll help you however way I can. I have, like, for example, I'm doing a lot of work with I prefer to call it fertility, not infertility, but I do a lot
Right.
of work with fertility with
Mm-hmm.
people who have unexplained infertility, in the sense that the doctors can't tell them why they can't have kids. And having had the beautiful experience of being a father, I feel like that's just something that is so amazing, and I don't want people to have to miss out on it because of psychological, emotional reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we can help you release that, release the guilt, release the shame around that, release
Mm-hmm.
that pressure, it opens you up to be able to do things that you never thought were possible. Um, I mean, even like with because there's people that like to work on either the past or they choose to work for the future as hypnotherapists, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who work with the past work with the brokenness. People who work for the future work on helping people either perform better or attracting their most ideal life. So there's like a lot of athletes, and I don't know if she does or not, but I had to take this moment to do a shout out to my homegirl, Sunisa.
Uh-huh.
Um, because it's a historic, momentous day.
It is.
That being said, though, there are actually a lot of actors, a lot of NBA players, professional sports players that use hypnotherapists to help them perform better. And we have
Mm-hmm.
this thing called an anchor, where if they're given the ball at the last, you know, uh, at crunch time in the last 2 3 seconds, they can then use this anchor, activate that anchor, boom, laser focus, high
Mm-hmm.
performance, ball goes up, boom, right into the basket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of like major sports players that use hypnosis to help them perform even better. So it's not just always about, oh, I'm so broken in the past, and I'm not. I mean, my tone came out wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not looking down on them, but more that you don't have to just fix the past. You can actually make the future, or drive the future
Mm-hmm.
closer to the destination you truly want, versus allowing somebody else to drive your future to some destination in the future
Mm-hmm.
unknown as of right now. So, and it's just such an amazing feeling when you know you have control of that steering wheel, and you know that you're reaching the goals that you set for yourself, when you're creating the successes that you want in your life, not what other people want, but what you want. And it's just and for me it's such a rewarding, amazing, wonderful experience because I get to sit shotgun and be like, yep, save a bite of that, save a bite of that. Oh my god, let's drive over there, let's drive over
Yeah.
there, we need to visit over there too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and help you check off all those boxes in your life, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah. Aya, I just say that I truly am thankful for you and your wife and for all that you've done. You and your wife are an amazing couple, and you guys are amazing people. And I don't think people know enough about hypnotherapy and the work that you and your wife do. And, she has her own cosmetic company online, and you guys are like true entrepreneurs, and you guys are so passionate about what you guys do. So I truly want to thank you guys because I think if I didn't have you guys as role models or as motivators or even to go through what I've been through with the hypnotherapy treatment and with the motivation and the positive words of advice and inspirational messages that you and your wife have given me, I truly don't think that I would be where I'm at today with Project We Inspire, with these two great job offers, with the man that I love. And I know this sounds kind of cliche again too, but we're friends on Facebook, so I think you guys have seen the growth and you
Yes,
guys have
yes,
seen the difference
yes,
in who I was 9 months ago. And I think also I can speak for some of my friends and closest family members. They're like, "Who are you?" So I truly want to say thank you for taking the time for your busy schedule. I know you're in Minnesota right now, and you're not even back at home, and then you're taking this time to talk to us about hypnotherapy and to even, uh, do hypnotherapy with me via Zoom. So I
yeah,
want to let everybody know that, we haven't even met in person. We've been doing this over Zoom, and it's powerfully changing my life still. So,
yeah.
um,
That's one thing that I do want to dispel that myth in that you don't have to be in person for hypnotherapy to
mhm,
work. For a long time, the model was we'd sit in person, I'd touch your hand, I'd touch your head or whatever.
yeah.
But you know, our school has evolved as a result of the COVID um,
Mhm,
pandemic,
yeah.
and it actually was a blessing in disguise because we're all like, "Well, how come I don't get to go to school and be in person and meet my professors?" But what it did was it gave us the tool to say, I can work with anybody around the
Mhm,
world and still be effective and still give them everything that they would get if they were right in front of me, you know?
mhm,
And I've done that. I've worked with a lot of different people. I've worked with people from all over the world and was able to be successful with helping them move past the presenting issue. And so that's just amazing, beautiful thing of modern technology. And as much as people talk badly about the pandemic, this was one thing that came out that is that silver lining around the cloud because it did make us as hypnotherapists have to evolve. But when we evolved, it opened the whole heaven to us. So
right. Yeah, and I know that if it wasn't for the pandemic, if it wasn't for technology, if it wasn't for any of social media, I know that I wouldn't have even been able to contact you and reach out to you, and then you reach out back to me. So I definitely want to emphasize that you can access hypnotherapy. Um, and again, the results are all going to be different for everybody, but you can actually, reach out to, you know, um, yeah, and any hypnotherapist, or somebody through messenger, through via Zoom or all that, and then it still works. And so but you're right, you don't have to do this in person. So I want to thank you so much again, your wife, and everything that you guys do. And I want to thank everybody for listening in, joining in. If you guys have any further questions, please reach out to AM, to myself, or just go to hypnoelevate.com. And if you have any questions, if you have anything, just let us know. We're more than happy to, answer your questions. And thank you for always supporting Project We Inspire. Have a good evening.
if I could say a couple of words, first of all, I'll put the link to my website in the comments once the video is posted. I also
Yes.
want to say thank you so much for the opportunity and the trust in me to
Mhm.
let me work with you. Just seeing your shine, right now, the glow that you have around you, it's just so rewarding to see the amazing change that
Mhm.
has transpired since when we first met And just following you slightly through Facebook and seeing all of the wonderful things that have now become a part of your life, I think is so rewarding for me. And we're so thankful that we got the opportunity to be a part of your life and to have made a positive impact for you. So thank you so much. And for sharing and taking all this time, like I was saying before, for taking all this time that you do to contribute to the community, to build community, to create a space for people. I think I don't think we say enough thank you to you, and we don't
Oh,
push you up enough for that. So thank you so much for that.
oh, thank you so much. So, so many blessings, sending so many blessings and prayers to you and your wife and to everybody out there. Thank you for um, everything.
Thank you,
All
and
right.
I'm receiving it. Receiving it. I'm
Yeah,
taking it. Put it in my pocket. Okay. So
you got it.
thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Thank you.